Hey everybody, it's Doug here, Doug Mystic Guy on Board Game Geek, bringing you the next part of my Thornwatch playthrough, where we're going to actually play one of the scenarios. I figured it out, I kind of puzzled through, because really this isn't, while it's cooperative, in most cases there is a judge or dungeon master type character involved that is done by a player. And while it can be done without, there's some elements of this that I'll tell you will be played better when you're playing with other people and someone is the judge. That's just the way it's going to be. But we're going to demonstrate this game and show you how it plays. I do like the theme of the game where you are playing these spiritual warriors that are summoned into this woodland area, this great wood called the Ironwood, and you're basically spirits meant to protect the people of these woodlands, and you have different powers and abilities, etc. It's kind of a neat theme, and it's laid out like a comic book in essence. Even the paneling, like you see in front of you with the board, it's a modular board. It's built based on the scenario, and it's kind of meant to be laid out similar to a comic book or something like that. And that's what you're looking at here. Now we're going to go over some of the details in this video about how to play and what we're going to be doing, and just talk about the scenario itself. So, but first off, let's introduce you to the characters. So, again, normally there would be a judge who's playing the bad guys, and then people playing the various heroes, which are the Thornwatch, or the summoned powerful spirit entities that they're brought into manifestation to protect the people of the woodlands. So we're going to take a look. We're going to play 3 characters today. And we're going to talk about them briefly before we get into gameplay. Then we'll talk about the scenario, and then I'm going to quickly go over the judge and also talk about some of the elements of the game that don't work as well when you're trying to demonstrate it as a solo type game. But let's first take a look at the character, and first up we're going to take a look at the blade. So let's get the blade out and take a look at the abilities and how this works and all that good stuff. This is the blade character, and this is one of the Thornwatch that you can bring into the game. Now, the characters are double-sided. The character board is double-sided to play male or female. I kind of like the female art on the blade better, so I went with that. You can see that we have some special abilities here, and this symbol here, these are skills that you can use to enable these abilities. Plus, there's also an entirely big deck of cards, which I'll show you just a little bit of in a moment. But you can see that the blade has a base ability. I think that's an agility symbol right there. This means that if with an agility symbol you can make a 2-dagger attack, right? And you use a card for that. This one is, let me see what that symbol is, mind. So with a mind you can do a feint, and it says activate once per ally's turn after that ally makes an attack against an enemy that is here. So you get to make an extra attack with a feint. And then you can plan, which requires agility or mind. This is when on the edge, and I'll explain what that means. You can see the edge is basically a flow of cards that determine initiative, called momentum in this game. You may remove your momentum card to go first next round. Everybody has that last one, that plan one. Everybody can do that. Okay, then over here, what you see are these 2 cards. You see one says angry and one says intimidating. Well, this is one of the aspects of the game that works much better when there's a judge and multiple people playing, because those are role-playing elements to the game. The game is expecting you to role-play the character out. So in this case, the blade would be angry and intimidating, and it kind of gives you some fictional information about that. It says you had only been alive for 5 seconds and you're already tired of it because you're angry. Remember, they're summoned spirits, so they don't know, they come into existence. You are a wild thing, more wild even than the beasts you fought. So you're intimidating and angry, and you're supposed to role play that out, right? And then there's, of course, a story. If in the book, there's a story about each of the characters. I think it's just very brief. I'm going to see if I can talk to it and see if it's easily... I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but I don't remember if it actually breaks it down for each character or not. I'm just kind of glancing through the book to see. But in the meantime, oh yeah, here it is. The blade. Blades have a reputation, even among other blades, for a misshapen pleasure in their dark work. When the spell that brings the Thornwatch to a place is ended, for good or ill, the blade is always the last to disappear. They will not say why. So that's the blade. And as you can see, they have also slots for these cards down here, these action slots. And you're going to slot cards, and then you're going to empower them with skills and other things. So in doing that, we'll take a look at, I'll shuffle them back in, but we're going to take a look what a typical hand of cards might look like, right? So you have these skill cards, and then, or these cards with abilities on them, then you have skill cards. So here's one of those mind cards. So like I said, I could play this mind card in order to do a feint, or I can empower. Let's say I do this striding strike. I know that requires agility, and it says move one tile before or after this attack, and this means we're going to roll 3 attack dice. This is how do you make such a dexterous attack? Well, see, I would slot this on my character, and then I would empower it with agility cards. See, and then once it's fully powered, then I can use it during my turn. And it has to be slotted to do that. Okay, I think that makes sense to you, right? And you can see that I have a couple. I have the 2 agility cards. I'm supposed to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 2 agility cards, and I also have some other abilities. Twist the knife, which is mind, and rabbit. Now this means that you can also spend it as another ability trait. Like for instance, if I don't have any, let's say I don't have any skill cards, but I want to empower that dagger, I can use this as just an agility. Okay, so that's the other part of that. And then you also see that these are all different skills that are very specific to the blade character, and we'll get to see them as we play. So I'm not going to go into them now. I'm just showing you how that works. And then it's a pretty good sized deck of cards that gives us our abilities. Whenever we have to reshuffle, it kind of empowers the, I'm going to shuffle this back up, kind of empowers the bad guy, the judge, a little bit too. So you don't want to burn through your cards too fast, but you do want to burn through them. And the blade does have a tendency to burn through the cards quickly. So that is the blade character. And here we have the green heart. And again, like the other one, there's 2 sides to it. There's a male and a female side. That's the female side. I chose the male on this one because I kind of like the one with the mask. And you know, each of these comes with a standing. Now there's no standing tokens, so you just lay them down, but you could stand them up. However, I think for filming purposes, it doesn't really matter. It's probably easier to see them when they're down like that. Anyway, you can see that our green heart, the cards we drew for their thing, is talkative and selfless. So talkative, it says, it is the devil's bulb, you said, placing the seed pod in your pouch. The plains lookouts use it in a few interesting ways. For example, it is said that, and you can do da-da-da-da, right? You're talkative. And then selfless. Whatever your name had been, it was lost now. There's only the Thornwatch. So you just care about your characters, which is an interesting draw because this is kind of the healer type. Now, you see that we do have Oaken Staff, which is his attack, and it uses the skill of, I believe that is Spirit, to fuel. And then we also have the Renew, which is using the ability of Wood. That's the Woodland power, I guess. It says activate once per other hero's turn. It says Renew, the hero draws 1 card, then returns 1 wound, that's what that symbol is, card from their hand to the wound discard pile, which is something you do then everybody has planned, right, using their special things and all the slots for the cards. So let's just take a look at a few of their cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be a typical starting hand. I believe it's 5. I'll take a look just to be sure before we play. You see we got some spirit cards. We got Solve, and again they work this. They all have different abilities, but they work in the same similar fashion. So like I can play this Foresight card, and then I just need to play 1, not Spirit, but I'd have to get a Wood, which means I probably have to play one of these other cards. Well, I don't have any. Like I couldn't actually play this card right now. I could play it out, but I couldn't fuel it. So it's just giving you an example of how that will work. We'll see how that plays out in the end. And again, their decks are completely focused and built to empower their special abilities. So that is the Green Heart. Before we go on, I do want to read to you the Green Heart's little story. Let's see. If A Daughter of the Ironwood is a book of that strange and unforgiving place, the Green Heart is but a page. But what a page it is! Even a fraction of what that wisdom makes the work of the Thornwatch possible when every portent is grim. I don't know what that means exactly, but it sounds good, right? So that's the Green Heart. So again, the Green Heart's kind of like a healer type, woodsland type person. But then last but not least, we have the Guard, and you can see the Guard has full sword ability. That's, you know, this is the fighter. Activate when an ally here would be hit. You can bulwark using an agility. You are hit instead for 1 fewer hit. That's hit, not wound. Wound cards have claw marks on them. And then, of course, you have the plan ability like everyone else. And you can see that our Guard is both tricksome and relentless. It says, tricksome, you can win before the battle begins. Indeed, it was your specialty. And then relentless, you would not stop. All that could be done was to give you room. lest you be as much a danger to your friends as your foes. So again, we're not going to be able to really role play this as much as I would like, because here's the deal, and I'm going to show you this right now. Normally the judge will say, oh, you really played that trick some good, you can flip that over. And that gives you a special, more powerful dive to add to your roll. And then when you do that, you flip it back. And then every time you exhibit a real role-playing trait, then you get to flip that card over and use it. So, you know, it shouldn't happen too many times a game, but, you know, like, it'd be pretty easy to play the green heart, for example, just being talkative. You could pull that off, right? So here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. But, you know, I'm going to have to play all the characters, and I don't want the game to go on and on while I'm trying to figure out how to role-play them, so we're probably not going to do much of that. So, again, you see that we have some skill cards. Agility, we have brawn, that's the other skill card, brawn, and we have like these different abilities that are fueled by those things. So it's the same thing. You can see that this one is usually around attacking and defending, retaliate, for example, rejuvenating strike, drive back. So, you know, it's warrior, fighter, guard type stuff. You know, the guard is the protector of the others. And that's going to be our third and final character that we're going to be playing with. And the little story behind the guard, it says, where the green heart excels at caring for wounds, guards try to make certain that wounds accrue to themselves only, selfless, perhaps to a fault. So he didn't get selfless, though. They are a storehouse of agony intended for their friends and allies. So you can see that the guard is going to have a lot of abilities. You're going to draw the wounds to her, in this case. And I picked a female version of her. That is the male version. He looks kind of like a woodland druid or something. But anyway, we picked a female character. So that is the guard. And so now we're going to talk a little bit about the scenario. So let's take a look at that. This is the scenario we were playing. It's called A Bad Deal. And you can see it's done like a little comic strip. There's a person hiding in the woods. It says there are creatures of the Ironwood that attack not with fang or with claw, but with the offer of an outstretched hand. Yet there is no place to be made, or no pact to be made with these creatures of the wood. At least no deal that ends with you the richer. Okay, and then it gives us some rules. Okay, so it says after ending a round, if there are at least as many splinterkin, which we'll explain that, that's the monster that we have in this particular scenario, as heroes on a tile with a marker that is number side down, the judge flips the marker so is number side up. This represents the plant is tainted. So these creatures are tainting the wilderness around us, and we have to protect it. Right. So it says the scene ends when all splinterkin are defeated. The heroes succeed. All the markers are removed from the map. The heroes fail. So if we save one plant, then we will succeed at that. Now it doesn't say, though, it's interesting, it doesn't say the markers are removed. It says they're turned up and tainted. I guess that's the same thing as being removed, right? In this case. And then if we succeed or fail, there is something on the other side. This tells us where we go next. It's kind of a branching story arc. And then on the inside, it shows you the map, which you can see laid out here, as well as the setup. And it says, use the splinterkin monster, place the splinterkin pawn equal to twice da-da-da. Randomly place one marker into each tile with the number side down. These represents the untainted plants in the area. And then it says, a bad deal. Summoned by a farmer and his wife, the Thornwatch learn that a baby has been stolen by a creature of the wood. A human child is practically a currency in the Ironwood, representing a medium of exchange in any number of grim economies. There are many creatures who might seek one out. Okay, that is our scenario, our storyline that we're going to be playing in this particular game. Okay, now let's take a look at the judge and the judge character and the monster, what we're going to be dealing with here. There are two forms in the judge that you can play. You can play the Judge of Stars, like this one, or you can play the Judge Below, and they give you a different set of abilities. We're going to play the Judge of Stars, and it gives us some things to spend what we call ebb on, and ebb is this malevolent power that is in the Ironwood that you can use as the judge to fuel your various powers, right? So you notice at the start of the game, I start with 2 per character, so there's 6. And you can see that this one actually requires 4. It says flip one monster's rules card to its ebb infused side. And we'll talk about what that means. That means it's more powerful. We'll probably try to do that pretty quickly because then the monsters become more tough. And you can activate once after the judge deals out the momentum track, and I'll show you what that means. You also see that we have the monster right here. We only have one monster in this Denizen monster track, and that is the Splinterkin. And the Splinterkin has a bite ability. It says Poison Spit. It's ranged plus a wound if the target is a hero with any number of wounds in their hand. Okay, so we can do that attack, or in the effects is Splinter. When a Splinterkin pawn is defeated and any other Splinterkin remain on the map, roll 2 dice. If any ebb are rolled, add 1 Splinterkin pawn to the defeated pawn's pile. Okay, so we'll have to see how all that works out in gameplay. And then, like it said, if I can flip it over. This is the plant pack. I can flip it over, and this becomes the ebb-infused Splinterkin, which is tougher, nastier, more powerful, right? So that's it. And of course, the judge has special abilities, and this is just a turn order track. And it shows basically on the back, it's a symbol guide of all the symbols, and on here it's a bunch of powers. Now, you notice that it said something about the judge can do something after the momentum track. Let's take a look at that. So the momentum track runs from root to edge. And what we're going to do, what the judge does, is he takes the cards for the characters, and these are the character cards plus the monsters, and shuffles them together, right? So we're going to shuffle them all together, and then we're going to play them out, starting from root to edge. Now the edge is a bad spot, and the root is the front where people go first, and there's some upsides and downsides. So let's just say it looks like this for right now. Okay, so right here we're going to have, we would say the blade goes, the Splinterkin goes, the guard goes, and then the green heart goes. Now sometimes these guys will have an arrow that will say it shifts one way or the other. This one does not. So you can see that that is okay. It may be on their card, and that might be what that means, that I shift it one. I think that means that I shift it one this way. So if that's true, and I'll double check that to be sure, because it probably is, that that means that when I deal these out and I go, oh look, the Splinterkin are going first. That's bad for the heroes, right? Because then all the heroes go after that, and the Splinterkins get to do something like, you know, take these plants, right? Yeah, so yeah, we have to try and keep one marker alive and kill all the Splinterkin for these people in the forest and get their baby. I don't think you actually get their baby back. I think that's part of the next part of the story. Anyway, that's how the root and the edge works. Now, here's the thing. The players, when they take damage, take wounds, and these are wound cards. There's 10 per character. If this is ever depleted, the game is done for the heroes. Okay, now those get dealt into the discard pile, or actually into a discard pile for the heroes, and when they have to reshuffle their deck, all the wound cards go in there and basically clog up their deck. Okay, that's how wounds work. However, it's different for the enemies. So if I attack a Splinterkin, let's say I do 2 hits for it, it means it's going to move 2 down on the momentum track toward the edge. When it gets, let's say I do 3 wounds and it gets to the edge. Okay, that's great. Now, if let's say for example, it's right here, and I do 2 wounds to the Splinterkin. Well, because it's right here, it's only going to go down the edge and it's going to stop. So hopefully, in that same turn, one of the other heroes can do it some more damage, because when it bumps up against there and can't go any farther, then the enemy you were targeting, or one of the enemies you're targeting in your space, dies. Okay, it's gone from the board. And these are the Splinterkin. They're like weird spider guys, right? And then when that happens, you kill it, and then this goes up 1 more. That's how the enemy track works. Now, of course, every time we finish a complete round, we're going to shuffle them up. So it doesn't mean they're always going to be bumping against the edge of it. It could be back at the beginning. We have to do damage to get them down. However, they could start down here, and we could be killing them right away in a turn. It's going to really be random, and we'll have to figure that out. And that's really how a turn starts, is by doing the momentum track. As you saw, we also did start with some ebb in play, and we can get more ebb through dice rolls and things that the characters might cause, right? So the one thing that we haven't done for the judge, which I'm going to show you because we're going to do it as part of the final part of the setup in this video, is these cards. These are terrain cards. Now, we get to place out half as many as there are tiles, right? Now, that doesn't mean we get to place them all, and I kind of like the idea of putting out randomly because it might limit how many you get to place, because they have to match these symbols. Now, so, you know, for example, you can see some of them don't have a symbol, and it's very easy to do. But like this one says, you know, Gourd Villager, you have to place that in one of the ones with the symbol. Okay, so if I shuffle that up, we can place out half as many, and we know that there are 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tiles, right? So we're going to get, I think it's rounded down, I'm not sure, let me just take a look. I think it is, but we're going to take a look. The judge builds maps, drawn a storyboard map icon, judge plays terrain cards. I'm going to have to look at the terrain card thing, but I'm pretty sure it's half rounded down. So anyway, since that's the case, we'll just say it's 4. That would make sense. Okay, so let's just go 1, split the deck, 2, 3, and 4. So those are going to be the terrain cards that we're going to get to put out as the judge. And let's see what they are. So we have the Ebb Vortex. After momentum is resolved, put a ebb on this card. When there are at least 4 ebb and no heroes are here, the judge may spend it. Wow. It's a cash. That's pretty awesome. So this can go anywhere, so that might be a good one. We're going to place that one somewhere, right? The red flies. When heroes here gain any number of wounds, they gain 1 more. It has a spend on it, which means it requires for us to spend to get that extra wound, I think, on them. Murky Depths. So this has to go in a place with water. And we do have, I think, 1, right? I'm looking at the board. I think there was 1. Maybe not. Yeah, we have 1 that this can go in. Heroes must take both an action and a move to move off this tile. And then, because it's murky, it's got murky depths in it, water, deep water. Fallen Tree. A hero must discard 1 fully powered action card and all cards powering it to move off this tile, and then remove this card. Wow, that's pretty nasty, but we have a bunch of areas that will be useful to us on. So those are the 4 cards that we have. Now, we know that our heroes really want to get out and try and save these things, so we're going to make it difficult for them. Now, I don't have any, I'm pretty sure I can still put in the space that they're in. Like, I could put this, these red flies right where they're at. I don't know if I want to, but I could also put, I can't put this because it doesn't match the symbol, so I could only put one of these 2 there, the Ebb Vortex, but I want the Ebb Vortex to be pretty far away. Now, since it doesn't have a symbol, I can place it anywhere, which is cool, and again, it has the cache ability, and I got to see what that means. It does mean something. I think it just means that we don't have to spend on it. It builds up that power, right? And then the other one says spend, so the red flies, so we have to actually spend an ebb to activate that when a hero gains a damage. So let's do this. We're going to take this one here, red flies, and we're going to put it someplace that's, well, actually, I know where I'm placing the Fallen Tree. The Fallen Tree is going to go right here, okay, in that space there, because it actually looks like a fallen tree. Just saying, you know. Now, the only place we can put the Murky Depths is way the heck over here. The players will have to come here at some point, because there's, unless we just want to sacrifice that, the one that the space I'm talking about is way over here, because see, the water symbol matches the Murky Depths. We can put that there. All right, and then we're going to take, I think, the red flies. We want to take it someplace where they're going to, we'll put it in caddy corner here, and I think this cache, it says when there are at least, it's permanent resolved, and no heroes. So we want to put this kind of far away from them. I think we're going to, you know what, I like it this better this way. We're going to put the red flies here, and we're going to put that there. That way this area is kind of tougher to get to down here, and that's where we're going to set up for our terrain cards. All right, that really is the end of our setup. The next thing we would do is to start taking turns. So we're going to get set up for the first turn of our game. And I think the first thing that we do, if I recall correctly, is put out the momentum track. But we also, I'm going to lay it out. I'm not going to reveal it quite yet, because I also have to deal out the hands of to the characters, the hand of cards to the characters. So let's do this. We're going to go, see, I'll just shuffle it up a little more. Go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. There is our card, so we'll just flip them up. Doesn't really matter. The blade's going to go first, followed by the green heart, followed by the guard. Wow, followed by the splitter. So the good scenario that I told you, the best scenario happened. However, I am right about that. That does move him this way. Okay. There we go. So that is the setup for the momentum track. Now, when everybody goes, you just basically turn the card, flip the card. There's a name. They call it something in the game. It's something weird, so I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. Anyway, we're going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards for the blade. And let's see, we got Twist the Knife, Hidden Blade, a couple of Agilities, and Thrown Blade. So that's 2 archery attacks. So we can fill these up on our turn, but it's not our turn yet. We're not going quite yet, even though the blade will be the one to go first. Very angry. She's going to be angry and go shooting at something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is the Green Hearts deck right there. Let's see what we get for the Green Heart. We got some Spirit. We got Clear Out. It's an attack. Each ally hero may move 1 tile, and you also get to attack. It's pretty cool. Inspiration. Another hero here may draw a number of cards from their tracker Then slot any number of action cards into open slots and power them. Okay, that's good. And then we got some spirit. So that's the our green heart. And then we got, last but not least, the guard. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See what the guard's got. Some brawn, lots of brawn. Maybe too much brawn. 2 brawn and a couple of abilities to power. That's not so bad. Look, we got this rejuvenating strike. Return to see. This isn't good at the beginning, but it's still good. There's nothing bad about the cards. So that is our draw right there. Okay. Now I think basically, since I did all the setup in this video, I'm not going to start the turns yet. We're going to end it here, so you got to see all the setup. You got to see how we're going to play. And I did mention the dice, so I never brought them out. And here are the dice right here. Now there are some scenarios where I think the judge is actually on the board, and some that aren't. I don't think in this one it doesn't appear that the judge would have any place on the board, but I'm going to double check that. And these are the dice. These are the 2 red ones that you get for doing your special traits. And then these ones, you see, they have some wounds and ebb on them. So when monsters and heroes attack, that's what we'll be using to do the attacks with. And again, there's other characters. There's a couple other characters in the game that we're not going to look at today, as well as many other scenarios. This is one of several. So that being said, we're going to end it there for today. We're going to get ready to play the game in the next episode, so we'll be doing that, and I hope you enjoy the series. So we're going to take the blade, the green heart, and the guard out as their spirits are conjured by this woodsman who wants their baby rescued. And the Thornwatch are going to go out and try and rescue the child and see what's going on in the forest. In this first scenario, it appears that we have to keep the woods from being blighted by these creatures as we move through to recover the baby in a bad deal. So, we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I appreciate it. Talk to you soon. If by now I think my contest for my giveaway rather for my subscriber base is over. Can't talk tonight, and I should be posting a video very soon on the giveaway on that. So I just needed some time to get it together for the weekend, plus work and all that good stuff. But it will be coming very, very soon. So thanks, and I will talk to you in the next episode. Bye for now.